Good morning, everyone. Welcome to my very first episode of Safari Mack, where I am your guide and your host in helping you make connections to the wild. Now, for those joining me from last week's episode, intro video, thank you for joining me again today. And for those just joining me for the first time, feel free to check out my intro video to understand who I am and know what my series is all about. Now, before we begin, I'd like to make a couple of announcements. First of all, thank you to everyone showing support. It means a lot to me. And second, if you want to check out my Facebook page, be sure to type in SAFARI space MACK in order to find me, just so that there's no confusion with Safari Chrome on the Mac computer. Now, without further ado, I give to you our very first animal, the giant panda. Now, believe it or not, because of the red panda, at one time we weren't sure whether the giant panda was either a bear or a giant raccoon. But now, thanks to genetic testing, we can confirm that the panda is a member of the Ursidae family, or the bear family. Now, the word Ursa comes from the Latin meaning the little bear, and is even famously featured as a constellation in the night sky. Now, believe it or not, the first modern pandas are thought and believed to have originated some point around 19 million years ago, when diverging from the common ancestor that includes all species of bears, including the grizzly bear, the spectacled bear, the sun bear, the sloth bear, even the mighty polar bear. For more, we will look at other bears in time, but for today, we are just focusing on the giant panda. Let's continue. Now, in the wild, you would only find these bears around in 3 provinces: Gansu, Shanxi, and Sichuan. Now, for those looking at in Shanxi or Gansu, if you look at the bottom left in this picture of near the Gobi Desert, that's where these provinces are. And while you may find pandas there, it's kind of rare to find them in those conditions. Now, Sichuan, in that area, it's governed by the heavy monsoon rain seasons, in which their food source, bamboo, grows vigorously. For pandas out in the wild, you really shouldn't be looking to find them in groups. Like all bears, pandas are extremely solitary creatures, only coming together either to breed or if it's a mother with her cub. In fact, believe it or not, the panda, when it's time to breed, it actually only has a short window of 24 to 72 hours. That's right. 24 to 72 hours. If there's no other male nearby, then unfortunately her window will shut and she will not have the opportunity to breed again for another year. Now, we'll learn a little bit more about that later on. Let's continue. Now, pandas, as I mentioned, are bears, but believe it or not, this bear's diet is almost 99% bamboo day and night. But now these bears are not full vegan either. In fact, they have been known to sometimes eat eggs as well as smaller invertebrates. Now, in the zoo or human care or sanctuary setting, while they are fed constantly bamboo, they also will get their diet supplemented by either a biscuit, which has been formulated to be able to meet all their nutritional requirements, as well as some delicious fruits and vegetables to help supplement their diet. Continuing on. In zoos and human culture. Now, in zoos, pandas are basically a major draw of crowds. I mean, one look at this creature and it's hard to not fall in love with them. But did you know that most of the pandas in zoos across the world are only on loan? They are only on loan for a period of 5 years until it's time for them to go sent back to China to breeding facilities, either for breeding or for continuing research. Now, why is that? It's based on an agreement that Chinese government and other governments like us here in the US have agreed to help in order to save the species. Now, do you remember how I mentioned the breeding window is very short? This is why you would basically try to find pandas living together when in normal conditions they wouldn't. That's because as our way of trying to help save the species, we are trying to keep them close so that whenever opportunity presents itself, we can let nature take its course and hope for a brand new baby. As of course, everyone is always excited with a brand new baby. But now here's a wild thing that you may not have known. In the early days, when people were beginning to breed pandas, unfortunately, the cubs were dying at a bit of an alarming rate. Only through research did we find that in the very infant stages, mom uses her tongue to gently massage her baby's belly in order to get it to go to the bathroom. So scientists started massaging the babies that were being closely monitored, and to their surprise, they were able to get the babies to poop. Now, why do they do this? It's just because their muscles are not yet fully developed. Now, for more about when they're born, we'll see that in the next video. Until the next time, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Check out my Facebook page to be able to learn more about the giant panda, or if you have questions that maybe I didn't cover in this video, please feel free to reach out to me. Until next week, this is Safari Mack. See you out there.